Ever wonder why your favorite quarterback throws a desperate bomb as time expires, or how a defense manages to squeeze every possible receiver? In just 20 minutes, we're taking you through every major type of play in American football. Everything from brute force power runs to mind-boggling trick plays. It's the ultimate crash course for fans who crave deeper insight into the gridiron. Strap in and get ready for a rapid-fire breakdown of the most iconic plays. Number 12, Hail Mary. When the clock is winding down and a team needs a touchdown from way beyond normal striking distance, enter the iconic Hail Mary. The name dates back to at least the 1970s, popularized by Roger Staubach describing his last-second prayer of a pass during a 1975 NFL playoff game against the Minnesota Vikings. The concept is simple yet heroic. With mere seconds on the clock, the quarterback drops back, unleashes a deep ball flying toward a crowd of wide receivers downfield, and hopes for a miraculous catch. What sets the Hail Mary apart from a regular deep pass is the sense of desperation and the sheer number of receivers sent downfield to create chaos. You'll typically see 3 or 4 wideouts sprinting to the end zone, each trying to position themselves for a contested jump ball. Defenses respond by dropping extra players into coverage, forming what's often called a prevent defense. Statistically, Hail Marys have a very low success rate. Some estimates put it at under 10%. But every fan watches with bated breath because when it works, it's the stuff of highlight reels for years. Teams that excel at pulling off a Hail Mary often have quarterbacks with rocket arms and tall, athletic receivers who can out-jump defenders. Think of Aaron Rodgers launching game-winning bombs for the Green Bay Packers, or Kyler Murray's famed last-second throw to DeAndre Hopkins in 2020. Few plays encapsulate the drama of football more than the Hail Mary. Number 11, QB sneak. From flashy, desperate passes, we pivot to one of the most basic but effective plays in the game, the quarterback sneak. Picture the quarterback pushing forward into a wall of linemen. This play is usually employed in short yardage situations, most often on 3rd or 4th down, with just a yard or less needed. The idea is straightforward. The quarterback, upon taking the snap, immediately plunges behind the interior offensive line, hoping to gain just enough yardage before the defense can react. Why does this often work? First, the element of surprise. Unlike a handoff or lateral, there's virtually no distance the ball needs to travel in a QB sneak. The snap goes right into the quarterback's hands, and he drives ahead. Second, the offensive line typically knows exactly when the snap is coming, giving them a fraction of a second advantage over the defense. According to NFL statistics, the QB sneak has one of the highest success rates of any short yardage play, often over 80%. Tom Brady has been famous for the QB sneak throughout his career, racking up countless first downs by simply leaning forward at the right moment. Teams like the Philadelphia Eagles have even turned it into an art form, using variations where tight ends push the QB from behind, though the push technique has generated debate about whether it should remain legal. In reality, as simplistic as it looks, the QB sneak reminds us that sometimes brute force can be more effective than a complex trick. Before we move on to the next one in the list, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you're enjoying this content so far, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. Thanks to all of you who do. Number 10, screen pass. Now let's talk about a play that dials back the downfield aggression in favor of a clever short toss, the screen pass. In a classic screen pass, the offensive line deliberately releases pass rushers, allowing them to come through almost untouched. Meanwhile, the running back or another receiver drifts to the side or slightly behind the line of scrimmage, ready to catch a short pass from the quarterback. Here's the magic. While defensive linemen think they're on a free path to sack the QB, the offensive linemen quickly move downfield to block in front of the receiving back or wide receiver. That's why you'll often see big linemen barreling forward like a convoy. Once the quarterback flips the ball to the back, it's basically a well-choreographed ambush. Defensive linemen are left behind the play, and linebackers must scramble to catch up. Screen passes are especially effective against aggressive defenses that love to blitz. If the pass rush gets too zealous, the screen can burn them for big yards. A great historical example would be Andy Reid's offenses, particularly with the Kansas City Chiefs, who are known for using screen passes to neutralize strong pass rushes. Statistically, screens can yield impressive yardage when executed correctly, averaging anywhere from 5 to 8 yards per attempt if timed well, though they rely heavily on timing and precision. This play offers a perfect blend of deception and disciplined blocking, reminding defenses that sometimes letting them in is part of the plan. Number 9, flea flicker. If you love the unexpected, then the flea flicker is your kind of play. This trick-inspired play features a running back taking the handoff, running a step or two to sell the run, and then tossing the ball back to the quarterback, who's usually dropped into a deeper position by this time. The QB then unleashes a pass downfield to a receiver who's hopefully left one-on-one or even wide open because the defense bit hard on the initial run fake. Legend has it that the flea flicker name was first used by famed Michigan Wolverines coach Fielding H. Yost, who likened the ball being tossed around quickly to the rapid movements of flicking fleas off a dog. Charming imagery, right? In the NFL, teams typically won't break out a flea flicker every game, but when they do, it can be a jaw-dropper. The idea is to exploit defenders' natural reaction to a run play. Safeties and linebackers creep up to stuff the run, opening deep lanes for wide receivers. One noteworthy example of the flea flicker's effectiveness is from Super Bowl 31. The Green Bay Packers used it with Brett Favre, catching the New England Patriots off guard. More recently, the Cleveland Browns successfully pulled off a flea flicker to Odell Beckham Jr. that turned into a highlight reel. Statistically, flea flickers have a high potential for big yardage because they aim for chunk plays, but they also carry higher risk. If the defense sniffs it out, you might see a 10-yard loss or a sack that kills momentum. High risk, high reward. Number 8, RPO, run pass option. The RPO, or run pass option, is a relatively newer phenomenon in the NFL, though it's been prominent in college football for quite some time. In an RPO, the quarterback stands at the crossroads of making a split-second decision: hand the ball off to the running back, keep it himself, or throw a quick pass to a receiver. It's like a triple threat move. Imagine the quarterback mid-decision, with the running back ready for a handoff, and a wide receiver running a quick route. The brilliance of the RPO lies in forcing defenders to hesitate. If linebackers commit to stopping the run, they open passing lanes. If they drop back to defend the pass, the running game can rack up easy yards. Eagles fans will vividly recall the 2017 season when Philadelphia used a variety of RPO concepts to keep defenses off balance en route to a Super Bowl win. More recently, mobile quarterbacks like Lamar Jackson or Jalen Hurts thrive with RPOs because they can keep the ball themselves if the end crashes on the running back or if the secondary is sagging too deep. According to NFL Next Gen stats, teams that use RPO plays effectively can add significant expected points per play compared to teams that don't incorporate this strategy. Execution is all about timing and reading defenders. One slip-up, like an ineligible lineman blocking too far downfield, can result in penalties that negate the play. But when everything syncs, the RPO is one of football's most dynamic and unpredictable weapons, showcasing the evolving sophistication of offensive schemes. Number 7, play action. Play action is the art of deception in football. On a typical play action pass, the quarterback fakes a handoff to the running back, giving the impression of a run play and then quickly transitions into passing form, looking to exploit a defense that's biting on the run. If you're a fan of seeing linebackers freeze or safety step forward at the worst possible moment, you'll love this play. Picture that fake handoff combined with a sudden pass motion. It's a split-second sleight of hand that can open up massive windows downfield. Statistically, quarterbacks often post higher yards per attempt on play-action passes compared to standard dropbacks. Kirk Cousins, for instance, has led multiple seasons with highly efficient play-action numbers, frequently ranking near the top in yards per attempt when using this tactic. Why does it work so well? Defenses are trained to respect the run, especially if the offense has established a strong ground game. A few successful runs can lure linebackers and safeties into stepping closer to the line, leaving mid to deep zones ripe for exploitation. However, timing is crucial. The quarterback has to sell the fake convincingly, and the offensive line must hold off the rush just long enough for the QB to set up. That being said, it's a bit like stage magic. If the audience, or in this case the defense, isn't truly fooled, the illusion flops. But when it works, it can be a game changer that amplifies the efficiency of almost any offense. Number 6, blitz. Now let's switch gears to defense with one of the most aggressive tactics in football, the blitz. In a typical blitz, defenses send extra pass rushers, like linebackers or defensive backs, charging through the line of scrimmage in an effort to disrupt or sack the quarterback. The idea is to overwhelm the offensive protection scheme and force hurried throws or negative plays. Blitz packages can be highly creative, with linebackers timing their rush just right or safety shooting gaps no one expects. Defensive coordinators like the late Buddy Ryan became famous for exotic blitzes, like the 46 defense, that confused offensive lines and made life miserable for quarterbacks. But with high risk comes high reward or high failure, depending on how the offense reacts. If the blitzers break through, you might see a drive-killing sack or even a forced turnover. But if the offense anticipates the blitz, they can exploit the vacated coverage zones for significant gains. That's where plays like the screen pass or a quick slant become deadly counters. According to advanced stats, defenses that overuse blitzing sometimes see diminishing returns. Quarterbacks like Patrick Mahomes or Tom Brady often feast on predictable blitzes by quickly identifying the one-on-one matchups in coverage. Nonetheless, in crucial situations, think third and long, coordinators will dial up a blitz, trusting their players to make a clutch play. Sometimes speed and aggression can trump even the most robust offensive schemes, reminding us that football is often a chess match with live pawns willing to knock heads. Number 5, zone coverage. Sticking with the defensive theme, zone coverage is a strategic approach where defenders guard specific areas of the field rather than focusing on a single receiver in man-to-man style. Imagine a chalkboard showing shaded field zones with symbols representing defensive backs and linebackers. Each defender is responsible for covering any offensive player who enters that assigned area. This can confuse quarterbacks by presenting a look that forces them to read not just one defender, but how multiple zones overlap. Common zone concepts include cover 2, cover 3, and cover 4. For instance, in cover 2, the two safeties split the deep field in half while the cornerbacks and linebackers handle the shorter zones. The key advantage is that zone defenders can keep their eyes on the quarterback, making it easier to break on throws or snag interceptions. Legendary defenses like the Seattle Seahawks Legion of Boom used a lot of cover 3, with Earl Thomas patrolling the deep middle and Richard Sherman locking down an outside zone. However, zone coverage can be vulnerable to well-timed passes into the soft spots between zones. Think precisely run crossing routes or curls. Quarterbacks who excel at reading defenses, like Drew Brees in his prime, can surgically shred zone coverages by anticipating where the open patches will be. That said, the zone is a wonderful tool if your personnel excels at reading the QB's eyes and rallying to the ball. Stats show that the best defenses mix man and zone, keeping offenses on their toes and preventing easy pre-snap reads. Number 4, option play. One of the older but still relevant offensive philosophies is the option play, which is especially popular at the collegiate level, but also used in the pros in different wrinkles. In a traditional option, the quarterback moves laterally down the line of scrimmage, carrying the ball with a running back trailing behind. The quarterback reads a specific defender, often the defensive end. If that defender commits to tackling the quarterback, the QB laterals the ball to the back. If the defender goes after the back, the quarterback keeps it. This approach forces defenders to make snap decisions, creating a pick-your-poison scenario. Modern NFL variations include the triple option, where the quarterback has the additional option of handing off to a fullback up the middle before reading the end. Though NFL defenses are typically faster and more disciplined, some teams still integrate option principles. Take Cam Newton's early career with the Panthers or Lamar Jackson with the Ravens. They've both used option plays to keep defenders guessing. Historically, coaches like Tom Osborne at Nebraska or Barry Switzer at Oklahoma thrived on option offenses at the college level, racking up huge rushing numbers. Today, you might see the option in short yardage or red zone situations where an athletic QB can keep or pitch to confuse defenders. According to some coaches, the beauty of the option is its simplicity in concept, but it demands excellent timing and a quarterback unafraid to take hits. Get it right, and you can find yourself waltzing into the end zone. Number 3, Wildcat. Next up is the Wildcat, a formation that took the NFL by storm in the late 2000s, particularly when the Miami Dolphins unveiled it in a huge upset over the New England Patriots in 2008. Imagine a running back in the shotgun pre-snap stance ready to directly receive the snap, while the usual quarterback lines up as a wide receiver or sometimes isn't even on the field. The objective, leverage your best runner with a direct snap, creating an immediate numbers advantage in the run game. In the original Dolphins Wildcat, Ronnie Brown received the snap and either handed off to Ricky Williams on a sweep or kept it himself, occasionally passing to keep the defense honest. Though it's essentially a variation of the single-wing offense, a formation that dates back to the early days of football, the Wildcat gained renewed fame as defenses weren't used to seeing such a direct snap to a running back at the professional level. While some thought the Wildcat was a passing fad, it hasn't fully disappeared. Teams still sprinkle it in to catch defenses off guard or to utilize a running back who can also throw the ball. It's not as prevalent today, but creative offensive coordinators still keep it in the playbook for short yardage or red zone plays. According to ESPN analyses, the Wildcats' success rate dipped once defenders became more aware of it, but it remains a fun and sometimes effective wrinkle. If you've got a versatile back, why not let him play quarterback for a snap or two? Number 2, bootleg. The bootleg is a classic staple where the quarterback fakes a run to one side and then rolls out to the other side, sometimes with a lead blocker, sometimes alone. Picture the quarterback rolling out with an arrow, turning his back momentarily to the defense during the fake handoff, and then sprinting around the edge. The idea is to exploit an over-aggressive defense keyed in on the running back. Once the quarterback breaks containment, he can either pass to a receiver running a complementary route or keep it and run. John Elway, Steve Young, and Brett Favre all use bootlegs extensively to great effect. The success of a bootleg play often hinges on the quarterback's athleticism and ability to throw on the run. If the defenders bite on the run fake, the QB gains valuable separation to scan for open receivers. Meanwhile, crossing routes and drag routes become particularly dangerous because linebackers get sucked toward the line of scrimmage. Teams like the Minnesota Vikings under Gary Kubiak's influence used a zone blocking scheme that fed perfectly into bootleg plays. Kirk Cousins, known for strong play action, found success rolling out and hitting receivers on intermediate routes. The bootleg can be lethal if the defense overcommits to the run, but it also carries risk. If the edge defender stays home, the QB could be pressured, sacked, or forced into throwing a wobbly pass across his body. High risk, high reward, just like many other hallmark football plays. Number 1, trick play. Finally, we arrive at the grand finale, the trick play. This category spans a wide array of deceptive tactics designed to baffle or confuse the defense with misdirection icons all over your mental playbook. Think of wide receivers throwing passes, double reverses, hidden ball plays, or even hooking and lateraling the ball across the field. A prime NFL example is the Philly Special, run by the Philadelphia Eagles in Super Bowl 52. Quarterback Nick Foles moved toward the line, pretending to give an audible. The ball was snapped directly to the running back, who pitched it to a tight end, who then tossed it to a wide-open Foles in the end zone. Trick plays often come out in critical moments, 2-point conversions, fourth downs, or high-stakes situations, where surprising the defense can mean the difference between winning and losing. According to analysis by Pro Football Focus, when executed properly, trick plays can yield enormous gains, but they also come with a higher probability of negative yardage if misread or poorly timed. Defenses are more disciplined than ever, and everyone's got game tape, so you can't spam trick plays all game without diminishing returns. Still, there's something purely exhilarating about the unexpected. Jokes aside, even the toughest defenses can get caught off guard if a play begins with one direction and swiftly transitions to another. Trick plays remind us that football is as much about creativity and daring as it is about brute strength and strategy. Confuse the defense, catch them on their heels, and you just might pull off an unforgettable highlight. And that's every type of football play explained in just around 20 minutes. We've covered everything from the desperation of a Hail Mary to the pure fun of a trick play. Hope you found this video helpful, and maybe you picked up a few nuggets to impress fellow fans on game day. If you love breaking down the X's and O's as much as we do, make sure to hit that like button and drop a comment below with your favorite play of all time. And of course, subscribe to the channel so you never miss a breakdown of America's favorite sport.